Welcome to an Epiphany with Tiffany. My name is Tiffany, and I've just had an epiphany. This podcast is all about Christian singles looking for community. Christian dating can be quite a mess these days. I'll share stories from my guests and practical tips for successful love. Dating shouldn't be this hard, right? So grab your favorite snack or drink and curl up with this episode, and you might just have an epiphany of your own, because I want to talk about the long distance question.
Oh, long distance. Okay. Open long distance. Mm-hmm. Yes. I've had this happen a decent amount, and it, even recently, I'm like, whoa.
Okay. Well, let's talk about it.
Okay. In general, I'm not somebody who gets asked out a lot or whatever. Mm-hmm. It's been many years since I've been asked on a date or been on one, anything like that.
Okay.
But first off, I'll start with the first guy. And we were messaging. So I was like, yeah, I'm a little bit nervous to message people, even as friends, because especially if somebody's maybe more popular, I don't want them to automatically assume I'm interested. But they might be one of the guys that probably gets that a lot. Mm-hmm. So anyway, so he messaged me and was like, yeah, you just message them. It's easy. And I was like, okay, cool, whatever. We talked a little bit, and then that was kind of it. And then he said something that we were talking about something random. And then he's like, I'm not trying to make this anything more than just friendship. And I was like, oh, okay, super random. Cool. And then 3 weeks go by and I totally forgot to answer him because I just, life gets busy and we're not we don't know each other.
Right.
And he was like, hey, so we should go on a date when you come visit, which is across the country from, and I was like, what? Excuse me? And then messaging me hey, good morning. I was like, whoa, man, it's too much, too quick, Yeah. And then another guy recently, I don't know what his motive is or anything, but we were talking about something. And then all of a sudden, we're in on the project together. And he's messaging me the next day being like, hey, hope you're good. Blah, blah. I was like, whoa, man, I don't know. I've literally never talked to you before this. Mm. And it's just so much, so quick. So I'm definitely not against long distance whatsoever. But when you get too clean, I don't know, unless the conversation flows and I don't know. But when it's just it's almost like they had somebody to respond. So it's there's a pounce, which I don't know. I know I'm rambling.
You're fine.
But it's good that guys, Christian guys, and they need to be more proactive and talking to girls and that kind of stuff. But especially when it's long distance or online like this, it's when you just jump all in, it's whoa, especially with somebody who is not used to dating a lot and stuff. I think it sends up guard of whoa, stop. And they might be great guys, but it's just so quick, so that's kind of where I come from on that, those two situations recently that I don't know. I don't know what their motives were necessarily. I could be mistaking and just being, miscommunicating, but just when you're have one conversation, then it's hey, should we text every day? It's no, not yet,
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's me, I guess. I'm a little more cautious because you just don't know who people are these days online. Mm-hmm. It could be somebody in their grandma's basement or, whatever, that I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, you bring up multiple good points. The communication aspect, right? We all have different levels of what communication is, how we communicate. Are we somebody that leans more towards I'm going to just tell everybody everything, or are we somebody that's I'm going to reserve this information until you're trustworthy to tell you, you know what I mean? Right. So it's balancing that out, especially with an online scenario. We are trying to get to know people even as friends. And so it's ask the question, is it okay if I reach out to you? Is it okay if if we talk tomorrow or, whatever? I have people that I've talked to randomly, and then it'll be super funny. One or the other will accidentally leave the other on red, and, and then it'll come back around and be oh my gosh, I'm so sorry that I didn't respond to you, and it's fine. It's just okay. But like when we have conversation, sometimes it'll be a long conversation, like voice memos or whatever. And then other times it'll just be like, okay, we're not going to talk because, we got whatever going on. And that's even with people that I'm like legit friends with in the group. So, you know, but it's navigating that line of what's too much too soon, and how do we ask that question instead of just assuming that it's okay that we just start talking like
right. Well, I mean, it's kind of one of those things where like if it flows naturally, it makes sense. But if it doesn't, and it's just like, hey, how are you today? It's like, whoa, I'm busy. I mean, just me in general, life has been like crazy busy when I travel for work. So when I'm on the road, when I'm traveling, like I barely talk to my mother, like on the phone. We might text every so often, but when I'm home, I talk to her every day, at least once a day. So like me not even talking to my mother very much like I get busy, and like, yes, my job is being on my phone, but like it's to be available for my bosses, not to be like texting somebody in a group that I don't know, unless, even then it's not, but you know what I mean? Just that's not my like priority. So it might, end up being a long time, or I might forget, because sometimes you read it and you're like, oh shoot, this happens. And then like a week later, you're like, oh no. Okay. Yeah. Why didn't they respond? Well, it's hard to respond when you don't respond back. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that happens all the time to me. I'll like open the message and sometimes forget to mark it unread again.
So sorry.
Don't take it personal.
Oh, yeah. I mean, especially if I've never met you, we've had like maybe 2 conversations. It's like, I'm sorry that you're not a priority. And I don't know if that's why I'm still single, but life is busy. And like I said, if it's too much, too quick, and it's not like natural, then because if you're just like responding to a conversation, this conversation keeps going or whatever, even if there's a pause, that's one thing. But if you're like constantly like, so how you doing today? How you doing? Unless somebody was like, oh man, I know today's going to be a difficult day or something. Like then the next day you're like, hey, how's your day going? You doing all right? That's one thing. But if it's just constantly like starting out with like, hey, good morning. I'm like, we're not in a relationship. So it's like, it's kind of a lot. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm sure I struggle with the same thing, trying to keep a conversation going and somebody's like, hey, back up.
Yeah. Especially with an online setting, it's a little different. I feel like if it was in person, but on an online setting, it can be a lot.
Exactly. Especially like I said, if like we haven't really talked, or it's like one conversation, and then all of a sudden it's like every morning, I'm like, no, sorry, that's weird.
Yeah. It's like a read the room kind of situation.
Like the one guy, like he texted me yesterday, and I honestly forgot to respond, but it was like, yeah, my birthday kind of sucked because blah, 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 and this and that. Like that's what he opened with. And I was like, okay. Like, also, I don't know how to respond to that. Like, yeah, it was just an awkward, like, I didn't text him. Like I said it on Facebook, but I didn't like text him, but he like texted me this and like this paragraph thing. And I was like, sorry, I don't know you. Yeah. Like, it should be like a friend conversation, not like somebody you're not really having a conversation with already. So I don't know. Unless I was like, hey, how was your birthday doing? I could see that. But this was an out of the blue. We haven't talked for a week, So I don't know. It's hard because like, I just like don't have experience with Christian guys, like being forward and being, bold and asking girls out or whatever. But it's like the ones that I have had more experience with guys in general, not necessarily even asking me out, but like, it's just like, whoa, it's all in. Instead of like hey, how's it going? And like, let's get to know each other a little bit online. And then, maybe if it works out to meet up or something, I don't know if it seems to be flowing well, but I don't know.
No, I get it though.
It would be nice to meet a guy on the group, but like, I'm really there for more like the discussion and everything. So it's not like my main goal. And I don't know if that's like maybe some people's main goals. Probably, but I just don't know a lot of Christian single people in my area, which is weird because I live in the Bible Belt, but I don't. Not like real Christians, I guess. People who, oh yeah, I'm a Christian. And then like, okay, but like, where is that in your life outside of hey, I believe, that's kind of what I experience a lot.
Yeah, same. So I get that. And I'm not anywhere close to Bible Belt.
Just like some of these are very interesting questions that the guy asks. Like, what's the best way for a male friend to ask you for a hug? I'm like,
ask.
Yeah.
I know, but see, I think we'll play the devil's advocate here.
Yeah.
I think the reason that question came in is because that individual, like, has had a lot of experience where it's an uncomfortable thing, like when they ask for that. I don't know for sure because I don't actually know this person, but like, I'm just going to assume that that's where it's coming from. Like they're not comfortable asking for it because maybe they don't know how to present that in a way that hasn't been shot down before, I guess.
Yeah.
But I mean, for me as a physical touch person, I just walk up and I assume the position,
Right.
and I'm like, just hug me. I don't just give it to me. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's a little hard for me to kind of look at it from that point of view of somebody who's not comfortable talking about like, hey, I want a hug because that's how I feel love. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah. Cause like if most of the time I think when people like, especially with girls, like if you just like walk up, like you said, assume that position, like they're going to be like, oh, okay, cool. If you don't make it awkward, you just like like be confident and just be like, I'm going to hug them, like, cause most people kind of do that for greeting, I think, and goodbye. Even some of my like guy friends who are a little more awkward, like and they do the hat thing, which is
don't do that. Okay, hang on. Little side note. If you know that somebody is a physical touch person, for the love of God and all things that are holy, do not pat them like that. Just don't.
I'd rather have the side hug, I really would.
Yeah. Don't do it. Just do not do it. Please stop doing it. It makes us feel so uncomfortable. Yeah. And we understand that you're probably uncomfortable in the sense of like giving us a hug because it's not your top love language. But if we're coming up and asking for that, please try a little harder.
Well, and I think like as far as like guys hugging their friends, besides just like the greeting or goodbye, whatever, if they're just like, having a bad day and we're like, I just really could use a hug, because sometimes you just do, you need one, but like, I think if you have that friend, like a comfortable enough friendship with somebody, then it's not going to be weird, rather than like somebody you don't know very well and then being like, hey, so can I have a hug? You're like, what? Like sometimes asking is weirder than just doing it as well, I would say.
Yes. Ooh, mic drop on that, because yes, it's like when you're asking for it, it's kind of like, wait, what? Why?
Yeah.
Just open your arms and let somebody who is a hugger come hug you. Right. Because we will see that universal thing and come running. We will, trust me. We will.
Yeah. It's very rare that people will just not, unless they're just not a hugger, or like somebody's made it very uncomfortable for them to like hug them back or whatever. Yeah. Then that side hug kind of comes in or whatever.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah, most of the time I think the asking is like the weirder part.
Mm-hmm. Just go arms wide open. Yeah. Or, wear a shirt that says I need a hug today and see what happens.
I'm sure you'll get a lot.
Yeah, you'll get a ton of hugs. Your hug tank will be full.
Whether you want it or not, actually.
Yes.
You might hug if you don't want, but hey.
It's fine. It's so funny because whenever I meet somebody, I automatically they stick their hand out and I go, I'm a hugger. And they're like, that's how I just do it. And they're like, oh, okay. And they'll hug, and it's just like, see, that's another way to just put it out there, especially if you're meeting somebody for the first time, or if it's a friend. Like, yeah, again, I don't know. All my friends hug. So even if they're not huggers, we all hug. So I don't know.
I had a friend like that. He just really didn't like touch, like really made him uncomfortable, whatever, but he still would come in for the hug. And I was like, and I'd tell him, like, cause can be super direct. I'm like, you don't have to hug us. Like, it's not required. If you don't like it, don't do it. And he's like, like, it's not required. It's not like I'm going to be offended if you don't, because if you don't like it, like, I feel almost more awkward when you do hug me. But personally, because I'm like, I know that he's really hating this. but other than that, like, yeah. So, but he still would go in for the hug. So I'm like, most people will, even if it's not like their top thing, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed.
I think that I would have a hard time being in a relationship with somebody who didn't like touch. That would be maybe a deal breaker.
Yeah, it would be hard for me too. I
Yeah.
touch way too much. Like boundaries, obviously, but I touch way too much.
I don't with like friends and stuff, but I know like in a relationship definitely would be super touchy feely and like especially huggy and stuff. And I'd be like, they didn't like it. I don't know if I could do it. That would be
Yeah.
really. No, yeah. I mean, it's important though. I mean, that goes into like communication too with people. And that's such a big one these days with whether it be Christians or non, like, and I'm just I don't have a lot of experience. So I just have learned by observing.
Right.
People just being like, well, we're in love, we'll figure it out. And I'm like, you won't probably actually. Like you really have to talk about stuff beforehand. Like you have to talk about like parenting styles. Like, do you want kids? Do you not want kids? Like, you know, do you want to spank your kid? Do you not want to? Like health stuff, you know, especially with COVID happened, you know, vaccines, things like, you know, like, I mean, it sounds kind of crazy, but like, it's a big deal. And, you know, just beliefs in general. Like some people I know who are like, oh yeah, I'd be okay with going to a different church as my spouse. I'm like, but why? Like, that's weird to me. I'm like, the whole point is to build the life together, not like, hey, yeah, I'll see you at your church. You know, and like, what happens if you do have kids? What church do they go to? Is it like a divorce where you like this every other weekend is like the other church? Like,
yeah.
It's such a weird concept to me. I'm like, I don't know. But yeah, there's just finances, et cetera, et cetera. You know, I just think that people don't talk about stuff and you don't have to go crazy in depth, but like, I think people need to talk about a lot more serious stuff pretty quick, you know, because then you don't have to waste your time. And then there's a lot less hurt feelings and, you know, you're not wasting your time. And you're like, all right, cool. Well, good. You know, we'll move on. Oh, well, it sucks, but you know, oh, well.
Yeah, no, I agreed. Like, the communication is like so key. And yeah, I've had conversations with some of the other ladies so far. It's like, which of these things are legitimate non-negotiables, and which of them are things that maybe there can be a little bit of leeway on, but we still need to talk about them because there can be so many different caveats within a topic like discipline for your children or, you know, like churches. Yeah, which church are we going to go to? Especially if you like live in the same area and you both have attended different churches. Like, what does that look like? Obviously, if like one of you is long distance and the other one moves, or if you're long distance and the other one moves, that kind of makes sense that you're going to probably end up at that person's church. Like, okay.
Yeah.
You know, but then also you might want to talk about it. Like, what does it look like in the future of, do we want to stay at the church or do we want to explore the possibility of another church family, you know, but having a communicative oh my God, having a conversation about it with effective communication. That's where I was trying to go with that.
People might like, you know, family and food on holidays, and other people might like marathons. But, you know, like, I don't know, like that's stuff like, again, that could be like not a deal breaker, but it's still something that's like, whoa, maybe that's super important that I go to my mom's every Thanksgiving or something. And then every other holiday, I don't care, but like, I don't know, but just communication on life, especially as we get older, unfortunately, we are more set in our ways. You know, that's why people did get married young and why it's good to get married young is because you build that life together versus like, how do we mesh two lives? It makes it really difficult. So yeah, I mean, the older I get, the more I know, you know, but which is great in some aspects. But again, it's like, it's hard to build a life with somebody versus like mesh a life, two lives, I guess.
Yeah, very valid. Like we have our own friends, our own, you know, viewpoints on all these different topics, like our own ideas. And it's like, you know, obviously you said earlier, like priorities, like our own priorities, what gets sacrificed? What's the compromise? You know, especially if you throw in long distance, like what does that look like? And I
mean, it definitely would, like, they would progress to more of a priority, obviously, as like things went on. But like in the beginning, I'm like, I'm sorry, like you're not my priority. Like my work day is from like 9:30 in the morning ish till about midnight, 1 o'clock, depending on the thing, you know, like that's my day. So it's like when I'm working, like, like if my boss is, it's kind of like I'm an assistant. So it's like, they're like, I need that, like that's, you know, I drop what I'm doing. So, and I'm like, I'm sorry that I can't have a conversation during a work day. I'm not sitting at a computer all day, you know?
Yeah. Ooh. That's a lot. It's a long day.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. But yeah, people will become more priorities as it like goes on, of course. I mean, if not, then that's a problem. But to begin with, when you don't know somebody and it's just like it can be a lot. And I think that's another thing is like we build somebody up in our mind so much for so long and then we get really offended by rejection, versus like, oh, hey, you know what, I kind of find this person attractive, like let's see if this will work out. And then if they say no, okay, cool, move on, instead of taking it personally and then just being so dejected by the rejection, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm super against pursuing guys, but like there was one guy that I kept running into out and about in Nashville, and I saw he maybe was a Christian, seemed, whatever was what he posted. But I was just like, hey, I just want to let you know, I think you're attractive and like it'd be cool to get to know you, but like on you, like kind of like, here you go.
Yeah.
Like, you're attractive, here you go. Do with that what you will, and he was kind of in a place where he was like going through divorce and stuff. So it didn't work out. But I was like, okay, cool, and like I don't think about it anymore, because I was like, fairly quickly on, I was like, okay, I keep running into this guy. He's kind of cute. Like, hey, by the way, you're attractive. No, okay, cool. Like, no worries. He doesn't know me enough for it to be personal, really. It was just like, hey, this isn't a good time, or whatever. Or even if it was like we knew each other a little bit and it just wasn't his thing, like, all right, well, that's fine, because I'm not like so invested in the situation because I waited a month or a year to tell him, or just, whatever.
Yeah.
You don't like overthink it. And I'm the queen of overthinking. But if you don't overthink it too much and just like, hey, you know what? Let's try this out without being too creepy or too like pushy, but just be like, hey, by the way, here, and then it's not so bad, the rejection, I would say. Personally, I don't know. But
yeah.
I mean,
I would agree with that. It's like it's being clear. And because you never know, like you never know when that yes is gonna come, and if you sit back too much, or you build, like you said, you build the person up in your head, then you're more attracted to that idea of the person than the actual person,
right? Exactly.
Yeah. So ask the question, gentlemen. Okay, so I was just reading your share below anything else, and which is like the last page, almost last page. It's page 14. The share below anything else you feel like might be important to know. And yeah, you were kind of touching on it a little bit, so I want you to keep going there though.
Yeah. I mean, I could be wrong, but I've found a lot of guys in the Christian field, if you would. I don't know if you would. I don't know how to say that field. What I'm going to say industry, but that's not what I meant.
The pond.
I work in music, so it just like it kind of came into anyway.
Yeah.
People in Christianity, whatever, I feel like guys have even like given over to the whole like, oh, well, I need somebody who I'm so attracted to and stuff, which attraction is important. But I've found that like guys will go for like the supermodel type, even if they're not the right person for them and they know that they're not, but they're just like, ooh, she's pretty, and they'll like not think of the girl who might be, 20 pounds overweight, but they're a great person and they might like still, might be that right fit or something. And again, like I'm not a guy, so it's hard to know on the physical attraction thing how that works, but because I'm attracted to personality over looks. Like I can find somebody like very attractive who by world standards is not very attractive.
Right.
But like, I'll just use an example. Like I had a friend two friends, I knew both of them really well and I knew what the guy wanted. Well, he decided to go after our other friend who was the skinny, tall, blonde, bubbly personality person who was the complete, not opposite, but like just not anything he wanted outside of, I guess she was skinny, blonde, pretty,
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there, I'm like, but then there's a girl that I really wanted to set him up with who she's a slightly overweight, but not like overly. She wasn't like, 500 pounds type of person, which doesn't matter. But, I'm just saying like she was still super pretty, like great personality. Like they would have actually, I think, done really, really well together and complimented each other really well. I didn't tell anybody this, but this was in my head, but he wouldn't even like look at her, and I was like to the point of almost being rude when we hung out together in groups. I was like, what is your deal, dude? But he was going for the girl that one wasn't interested in him whatsoever. Number two, like completely different belief system, completely different, all kinds of stuff. And I'm just like, okay, like, I don't know, I mean, and I see it like guys, they want somebody who's like, well, I need somebody who has this much percentage of body fat and this and that. And I'm like, okay, well, what happens if I got pregnant? What happens if I have health issues that makes me, like weigh more than I would like to weigh, or, an injury, or I don't know anything, like, or, what if I'm super skinny now, but then, 10 years down the road, what if I fall and I like break my leg and then I like don't fully recover and I start gaining weight? Like, is that a problem then or what? Like, I don't know. It's just, I think, and I'm sure some girls are like that too, but I've just noticed a lot with Christian guys that they just tend to go for like the more supermodel looking girls that, rather than like, hey, let's get to know some really great girls that are single, that have their life together, that, could be a really good fit, but you're not considering it, So, I mean, again, I'm sure girls do the same thing in some aspects. I see on the group, for example, like a lot of the girls will like all congregate to a certain few guys, it seems like, but yeah. I don't know if that's I don't think that's because they're like, the supermodel man either. I think it's because they have a personality, and they show the personality, and that's why people gravitate towards them. So it's like, which sucks for the other guys who are not as like bold or as talkative, but I don't know, maybe that's just like something to think about. Be like, hey, these guys like might not be like, the best looking guys ever, but they're attractive because of their personality to women. So, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I just like, I found attraction has grown with knowing somebody versus, because a lot of times, guys that are just overly attractive don't have great personalities. And that's not always the case, but, oh, that's cool. You're attractive. That's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Can we bring it down a few notches?
Yeah, I had a guy recently like that, just somebody that I've been around, not that I'm dating or anything or trying to date, but like he would frequently like take his shirt off around me and I'm like, cool. Yeah. Yeah. Good for you, buddy. Be like, listen, like when I'm at work, I am the only girl. So like I've seen it all. Doesn't bother me. You're not fading me. Sorry. Really ignored it. And he finally put a stop to it. Cause I was just like, I don't care. Like that's not going to win me over, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not that I think he was trying to do that. I think it was more just like look at the girls like me thing. And I'm like, yeah,
an ego boost. Just because you outwardly look nice by the world standards doesn't mean that we're going to be attracted to you. So,
right. And I don't know. It's like a lot of people say, social media and stuff is where a lot of this comes from. And probably, just like unrealistic expectations. But then I see like question of like, why do you use filters and stuff? Like, because you feel like a lot of girls feel like they have to. I don't, because I don't know how. I don't even know how to do the background thing. I don't know how to do that. But like, yeah, I don't know. I get in trouble all the time because I I say the TikTok or I like spell it wrong. And people are like, you should know. I'm like, I stopped after Instagram, Snapchat, like fully confused me to where I was like, nope, done.
Yeah.
I have no more capacity. But I'm like, so I don't use filters. But I think a lot of girls feel like they have to, and I have friends who are constantly like, oh, let me fix this on this picture. Like, let me like fix the blemishes, which of course I'd love to have like those gone, but like, let me fix that. Oh, my under eyes. Oh, let's fix this. So let's fix that. And I'm just like, okay, I guess, but that's not really you. I mean, it kind of is, but like when they see you, they're going to see something different. So then what?
Yeah.
But I don't know. So a lot of that is like, it's both people's fault, I think, in terms of social media, girls do it. And then, but sometimes I think that guys make us feel like we should.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I catch myself sometimes going, oh, I don't want to post a picture because insert thing here, right? And then I'm like, okay, I continuously tell people how real I am on social media. I can't just not post this picture because I don't like 100% how it looks, and then sometimes I'll be like, okay, let me try and take another selfie. And then I'll be like, still looks the same, honey, because it's your face.
I've kind of gotten like to challenge myself, like unofficially challenge myself with letting people post, because I just don't in general post a lot, especially of myself, just because, but challenging myself to be like, if somebody's like, oh, can I post this? And just be like, yeah, I don't care. Because like, if that's what you want to post, like, if you think it looks fine, then maybe it looks fine. I don't like it with myself, but you know what? Whatever. Like,
whatever, yeah.
What harm is it really going to do for somebody to post something where like, yeah, my arm looks bigger because I'm in a weird, like, because I do that.
Yeah.
Sometimes. I take pictures at weird angles sometimes, and I just like makes me look different than I feel like I look. But you know, if somebody's not going to like me because of that, then okay, well, whatever. But
yeah,
I mean, it's a memory. It's about like, oh, this was a fun time. And like, if that's what you want to post and you feel like it looks good enough, then great. You know, cool. We'll have that memory.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just, I mean, social media has kind of always been this way, but I feel like it was a huge flip like a few years back. But it's like, when did it become about other people instead of like what we're trying to do for ourselves? Like, 'cause I take pictures all the time. Half of them don't end up on social media. You know what I mean? But it's like my memory, you know, and I got caught up in the whole social thing. I won't lie. Like, I think we all did, you know what I mean, for a while. But it's just now I'm like, why am I taking this picture? Or why am I taking this video? Is it to put on social media, or is it for memory, you know? And yeah, it's like, it's a little convicting, like when you kind of check yourself that way.
Right. I know. Well, there's so many that I take that I don't put. And that's more of like, because why would I be put, like you said, what is my reasoning for putting this on there?
Mm-hmm.
You know, we had this artist visit us last summer, and he was like, I knew he was like gonna get really big, and then he did, but at the time he was still like unknown-ish. And I was like, I had no makeup on, my hair was not brushed that day, which is a lot when I'm at work. But I was like, you know what, I'm gonna take a picture anyway, because why not? Like, I never posted it, not because like, oh, I don't like myself. I just like, I didn't feel the need to post it.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I kind of got to that point where I was like, this is a fun memory to have. And just because I don't look my best, like, why am I not taking this picture? You know?
Mm-hmm.
So but I also didn't feel the need to show everybody, be like, look what I did, you know, like, I don't care.
Yeah.
But
look who I got a picture with.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for listening. I hope you've enjoyed the stories and the perspectives that were shared in this episode. Please share it with a friend whose dating life might need some help. Wink, wink. If you want to connect with me on social media, you can find me on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter at An Epiph with Tiff. I really hope to see you there. There are multiple ways that you can support my show. You can pray for me, rate, review, and share any episode that you love. Or you can even financially contribute by going to patreon.com/an epiphany with Tiffany. Until next time, I'm Tiffany, and I hope you just had an epiphany.